Knight of Cups Tarot, and welcome to your reading for August. I'm so excited about this month because it's yet another super productive month for us. Heavy hitting energy. It's really like getting us on track towards our destiny, right? And this is really a dynamic month because you've got a lot going on in that fifth house, which is a house of your creative self. This is how you co-create your existence, how you co-create your universe. And we also have Venus moving through the 12th, which can get a little bit tricky, okay? So there's going to be elements in our life. We've got like 11th house transits going on. There could be like really lucky breaks. Libra can really be attracting some wonderful situations into their life. And at the same time, they could get a little bit triggered. There could revert back to some self-sabotaging behavior or, not believing in yourself or not believing in your worthiness or investing in kind of the wrong people, investing in the wrong situations. And I think it's important that we have a little element of control over how we want our futures to unfold. Look, we don't have to have the details right now. It's really not going to be about the details. It's not going to be about like knowing exactly who, what, where, when, or why. It's just knowing that we want to invite these certain experiences into our lives. We want to be in this, financially resilient, comfortable place. And it's going to take some work. It's not going to be easy because there's contrasts this month. There's things that go really, really well. And then there's certain things that stick out like a sore thumb and they just have to be dealt with. But it's important to remember that we have to be brave enough to make these changes and to demand better for our lives. That's ultimately where we're going. And there's going to be scenarios or things that we start to realize are really draining on us. And they're robbing us of the time that we could be spending creating the new life, creating the successes, creating the new businesses, participating in the new relationships that are really good for our soul. Because we don't want to waste time on things that aren't. We don't want to get dragged down. If we're not really listening to our heart and our soul during Leo season, if we're not really doing what resonates with us on a soul level, then we're going to really start to see some serious consequences. Consequences for the decisions that we didn't make, the things that we didn't stop doing, or the energy we didn't cut out, or the people in our lives that we didn't have those tough conversations with, that we didn't get honest with. And so I'm going to actually turn the camera down now so we could really pay attention to these cards and channel in the story, guys. So just give me a minute. We'll turn the camera around and then we'll dig in. All right? Okay, Libra, let's get into your cards for the month. Libra, you are coming out this month as the Queen of Wands. And I like this energy for you. One thing I'm looking at here, we've got Three of Wands, we have the Three of Pentacles, we have the Empress, which is a 3, and the Three of Swords. So that's legitimately 4 threes within your reading. And to me, the number 3 is always about the creation. And I think for Libras, we're really in a mode of creating. Like your cardinal energy. Now we've got Eris and Chiron retrograde in your 7th house. And there could be a little bit of a push-pull dynamic between like the things that you want and your current scenario. We've got the Queen of Wands, and your environment is that of the Hermit. And the Hermit always talks to me about like self-reflection and finding that inner light. I think the universe really wants Libra to find their inner light and to follow it, to be brave and courageous enough to follow that light. Now we have the Three of Pentacles here with the Two of Swords in reverse. And I really, really like this energy because it is clear to me that there are people coming into your life, Libra. There are certain situations going on in your life in which you are really required to be in full receiving mode, right? The Empress. There are people, there are opportunities, there are situations, probably feeling a little bit fated, right? We've got a personal issue reaches resolution, full moon in Cancer. It feels as though these three people, you know, there's certain players in your life kind of entering the scene, maybe recently or in the recent past. And these people are very important people for you, because they're teaching you to be kind of in this receiving mode. The Empress. Because if this Two of Swords was, if it was in reverse, I mean, if it was not in reverse, it feels as though we could be kind of defending or blocking ourselves. But because it is in reverse, I think this is us releasing the uncertainty and committing to the bigger picture. And I just get the feeling that the universe is really pushing you to make progress in your life, Libra, by giving you the right people, right place, right time, right opportunity. If anybody's dealing with a health issue, boom, this is like the specialist or the nutritionalist or, you know, like whatever it is that you need kind of just shows up for you. I always pick up like an element of a teaching dynamic with the Three of Pentacles, because like the teacher is no one without the student. The student is no one without the teacher, and in between them is the lesson itself. And so there's always alignment with the Three of Pentacles, meaning the universe is aligning you with the perfect scenarios and the perfect teachers and the perfect lessons for you to overcome. There may have been some form of resistance to this, but I think that comes to an end this month with the Empress, because I think you become really fully in your power in the receiving mode. Now, what's kind of weird about this, like the energy that I'm picking up with this Queen of Wands and the Empress energy, it's kind of like Libra's really feeling themselves. Now, for some of you, this can actually be like a sexual scenario. It could actually be a situation which you are really feeling good about yourself. And that's a really powerful place for you to be. But not only do you have to maintain the Empress energy, but you're going to have to be a little bit unapologetic about it. See, when you're fully embracing yourself, like loving yourself, not being ashamed of certain aspects of self. When you're fully embracing to all of your good qualities. Because like the Empress she doesn't like work very hard, you know? It's not about the hard work. It's about knowing what you deserve, knowing that you're worthy of it, which may have been a struggle in the past. And this is you kind of on this journey of gaining faith. Now, one of my favorite things about like the idea of manifestation, like even this is kind of threefold. There's the want and the desire, and then there's your physical ability to create it, right? And then there's also the really important key to all manifesting, which is knowing that you deserve it. You know, I can't tell you how many times we kind of get to like the end result of something that we really truly want, and this is kind of like the freak out mode where we're like, oh my God, am I worthy of this? Am I good enough? And I see Libra kind of moving into this really powerful place of knowing that they deserve it. Maybe this is kind of unsettling because it didn't take a whole lot of work. It just kind of happened. There might even be a feeling like all of this is just too easy and too good. Now, for some of you, these could be, you know, lower vibe, 12th house transits. There could be third-party scenarios, sure. Three of Pentacles is the foundation. With the Empress. And then we have the Three of Swords, which does depict an element of disappointment. But I think this is all in the name of healing. Healing like that old version of self. And this is kind of like, this and that is true, that you can be both the Empress, knowing that you are fully worthy of engaging in like the good part of life, the exciting part of life, the good healthy relationships, the really good sex, the good food, like all of the life's pleasures. There's always a shadow side, right? There's always a balance. And the thing is, you're attracting a lot, Libra. Like we have the magnetism card here, and underneath this Two of Swords, we have magnetic North Pole. I am flexible but consistent. I am magnetic. I know my purpose and my true north. And this is where I think things could get a little bit self-indulgent. Okay, like this is my warning for Libras, like things can get a little bit self-indulgent. Because it feels as though the universe is kind of sending you like this thing, almost as if you have a calling or like an element of your destiny kind of shows up at your door. And here we have this Two of Swords, which is kind of avoiding the bigger picture of it. Avoiding how this thing is growing from the foundations that we've already laid. And when we're in Empress mode, we have to immediately become unapologetic. Because we are participating in these creative endeavors, and because we're really following our passion and following our heart, it doesn't always mean that everybody else in our life is going to be super excited about the directions that we're moving in. Because the thing is, Libra, when a path lights up and you start to take that journey, right? Like here we have the Hermit. We actually have like a path. there's a clear path. And here we have this card. It says unmarked trail. The universe is giving you a trail. There's clearly a way that, you know, a path that you want to move towards, or a road that you want to go down, or a certain direction. And when you choose to take that direction, it means you may have to disappoint some other people. But this is the power of the thing that's coming into your life now. It's meant to pull you out of a rut. The situations that are presenting you this month is really not about like the long-term scenario. It's more about the pleasure of the moment and where it takes you and how it changes you. And you have to allow these situations to occur so that you can kind of get back to self. Sometimes we have to experience things to know what we do and don't want. There will be things that you are attracted to, that you want to move forward with, no doubt. There will also be things that make you feel like you're stuck. Here we have the stuck in the mud, card number 24. Now remember, there's this path presenting itself. Magnetic North Pole, your true north, your destiny, showing up at your doorstep. And these are decisions that you have to make about what path you're going to take, who belongs on this path and who does not. Here we have card number 37, which is a 10, which is about completion, meaning you're attracting things into your life, new things in your life that mean the old part of your life has to come to an end. And here you got an extra card here of the equator, to make equal. And this is a card number 5, which signifies change. So as beautiful as this Empress energy is, as easy as this looks, you know, you may be kind of like the discord for other people. There might be some hard conversations that you have to have. There might be some expectations that you have to manage. There might just simply be certain people in your life that you have to leave behind because you're walking down this path now. And it couldn't be any clearer with the 3 of Swords and this stuck in the mud energy, that the guilt and the shame of leaving certain elements of your life behind is exactly what is keeping you stuck to begin with, right? Like the things, the people that we have to disappoint, they're quite literally pulling us down, making us feel heavy, hard to move, hard to make the changes in our life. For some of us, this is toxic friends, toxic workplaces, bad relationships. For some of us, this is other people's advice and expectations and how we should live our lives, how we should proceed, and the choices that we should make. But see, you're not in that state. You're simply attracting the scenarios to you, which can incite a lot of jealousy, a lot of low vibrational energy from the people around you. Because the thing is, there's probably a lot of people counting on Libra to do or be the same thing they've always been. Like some people really need Libra to just be this rock that they could always rely on. There's definitely change. You are definitely co-creating a whole nother life for yourself. And what I love here is we have this King of Swords right next to the Seven of Swords, which absolutely indicates to me the need to kind of look at the big picture. Okay, I can keep appeasing these people. I can keep living life kind of the same. But when you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're going to continue to get the same results. And I certainly don't think a Queen of Wands is willing to kind of settle for the same result. And there's an element here, like elephants are always about like memory and our emotional strength. And I think for some of us, our memories are really starting to hold us back. There's elements of ourselves that are responsible for keeping us in a holding pattern. Like we can't quite make progress. And it's probably not because of you, but because of your environment, right? Like the elephant can't help that the ground is so wet and moist and muddy that he simply cannot, he has to move much slower. Like if you ever had a dream that you were trying to walk through water and you couldn't, like it took every bit of strength just to take that one step. But this King of Swords moves very swiftly. This is no match. This is really transmuting the past scenarios, the people that pull you down or hold you down, keep you stuck, and transmuting it into your personal power, which means you will be speaking your truth. You will be having those conversations. You will be setting those boundaries. As Libra's simply not going to appease the other people right now if they are responsible or in any way making them feel like they are held back. There are relationships that are going to contribute to your growth, and there are relationships that will not. And if you have been staying in situations feeling like you have to rescue other people or always be there or give your energy to other people, the boundaries this month will help get you unstuck. And I hear this King of Swords saying more often than not, enough is enough. I think this is Libra knowing that she can no longer put herself in this situation. Because the thing is, once you're in Empress mode, like once you realize your worth, you start attracting the things that are worthy of you, the other stuff kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. Like there's certain areas for Libra that are really, really working out beautifully. And there are certain areas that are not, and this is a contrast. And any areas that are causing Libra to suffer are easily determined and taken care of. Because these are the things that are stealing from your peace of mind, your strength and solidity. Like we have this full moon in Cancer here. And the thing about like the Cancer energy, the crab energy, it doesn't often want to like disappoint people. Doesn't really want to say those things that probably they should have said many, many times over. And like crab can kind of move sideways, right? Like he doesn't move front and back. He doesn't like really attack something. He kind of just moves around it. And I think this is how you've been approaching life, kind of moving around it instead of actually dealing with the real things. Instead of actually confronting the people that are kind of driving you crazy. Like anybody not willing to help themselves, the Libras will not have time for this month. They just simply won't tolerate it. Because look, either you bring me peace, you bring me joy, you bring me passion. Either you are an inspiration in my life or you are simply useless. These are not emotional decisions, right? Like we don't see any cups on the table here at all. I don't see an 8 of cups. It doesn't feel like this is like a painful process of leaving. It just simply is what it is. If you are stealing from my peace, you don't belong in my life. If you're gossiping behind my back, then our friendship is not valued. It's not valuable. It's a waste of my time and resources. And the King of Swords is certainly not going to waste time nor resources on things that do not have a return on the investment. And I think the more and more you get into this Empress mode, I think the more and more that you become comfortable in who and what you are and what you want life to be, the easier it gets dictating how to get there. And it's not about saving or sparing people's feelings. You might have to really hurt other people's feelings this month. You might be saying the things, but it's okay, because even if you're delivering the cold, hard truths, it might be the very thing that gets that person unstuck. And therefore, there's like a full karmic circle to it. Unmarked trail, revelation. You know, if you have people in your life that you keep rescuing, it's the same scenario over and over. They dig themselves into a hole. You get them out of it. They do it again. You do it again. This can go, round and round forever. But nobody's growing, and certainly you're not growing. And the fact is, if you keep saving other people, then you are actually, in the end, sabotaging them, because they haven't had a chance to learn the karmic lesson. And I hate to say it, I really do, but sometimes those 3 of Swords moments, when we have them in our lives, they really wake us up. See, because the 3 of Swords is cleansing. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it stings. Yes, it's very uncomfortable. But never does it not accelerate our growth. So when we get disappointed, or when we have to disappoint other people, we contribute to our own growth or to their growth. Because we can't stay small for other people. We can't keep accepting bad behavior from other people. Oh, well, if they apologize, then it's okay. We could just do this 20 more times. And then you start to look back and you see how much of your life you've wasted reliving this scenario over and over again. But it's a life lesson. It's big, this revelation, unmarked trail. This is when you start doing things differently. When you start having those conversations, when you start speaking your truth, when you start saying no, then the environment's going to feel you pull back. The environment is definitely going to feel you being less attentive, you being less giving to scenarios that are beneath you. Not going to give to friends that don't give equally in turn. And I promise you that any relationships that are coming to an end or anybody that has to be cut off will immediately be replaced with higher quality candidates, okay? Whether this is your job, whether these are your employees, whether this is somebody working for you, you know, if these are dating prospects, like you use your discernment, you see what it is because there's so much clarity here. And you get unstuck really fast. And as soon as you make space by getting rid of the people that take, you bring in better, more equal partners. And I just feel like you're being so protected at this time. And even when you do have to say the hard things, you know, maybe for some of you, there's like a child that won't, you know, leave home even though they're well into adulthood. And you might have to do some cutting off, but it's really valuable towards their own personal growth. Because ultimately, we want everybody in our life to be in the Empress mode. Because how great of a world is that? Like, how happy of a person would you be if you and everyone surrounding you knew they were worthy of the best kind of life, and therefore that's the choices they made to live it? And this is about partnering up or being with people that are on the same path of self-improvement and empowerment as you are. This is about letting go of things that don't kind of belong in your soul tribe and attracting the things that do. This is a really important portal in time. Three of Wands, suggesting that the land is going to get barren before it bears fruit. You don't have the physical thing in front of you. You don't have the promise, you don't have the guarantee, you don't have the contract or the job offer or the $1 million jackpot. You don't have it yet. But you know it's coming. And you know there's certain decisions that you have to make in order to be worthy for this door to open. You can't be dragging everybody through this doorway with you. Only active participants can come. And underneath that, we have this Ace of Wands, which is ultimately the thing that you're chasing. This is kind of the euphoria of what you want life to feel like. Oh, if this person wasn't here, or if they didn't do this. Then life would just fall together so easily. And the idea is you have to be courageous enough to remove the things that are blocking you. You know the path. You feel it opening. It's becoming clearer and clearer. And faster than you realize, we move into the sun in Virgo, and then the sun in your sign, and that's when stuff really starts to take shape. That's when life really starts to become beautiful. That's when you know and others know that you are full on Empress mode here. That the things that you want are headed towards you rapidly because you made the space, because you cleared the path. For some of you, this is probably financial lessons as well. You know, it's not a time to just go out and buy whatever it is that you want. It's about the bigger investment. It's about being wise with your money. Which also means that we cannot just give it away to everybody else who doesn't know how to manage theirs. And for some reason, I pick up on this energy of accountability and what happens in life when everybody in or around our lives is fully accountable for themselves. And suddenly you become weightless, right? We've got the stuck in the mud, and then we have the King of Swords, and he is weightless. He's not going to be pulled down by the guilt of having to cut somebody off, having to make those hard decisions, having to say, I'm just really not going to participate in this with you. And suddenly he's free. He's weightless from those scenarios. And when you are weightless, then anything is possible. And pay attention this month to how easy it is to just change your habits. Pay attention, especially to any advice you get from others. And for some reason, like sometimes some of us, this Three of Pentacles is like, maybe, listening to these readings on YouTube. And maybe there's some really valuable advice that makes you open your eyes and see how there's certain things in your life that are sabotaging you. Any form of overindulgence, gossiping, talking behind people's backs. Like, what is inauthentic to you that you can leave behind? Overspending, overeating, making unhealthy decisions, any form of codependency. These are the ways that we don't show up for ourselves. And for some of us, it's just the way that others in our lives don't show up for themselves, and how much it deeply affects and keeps us rooted in the same place. Libra's going to refuse to be rooted any longer. Libra's going to demand to be this weightless, so he can follow his passion. If you have like certain dreams, like a vacation or someplace to travel, or this thing that you really want to do, but you can't quite do it, whether it's due to like funds or schedules or whatever it is, and then you really start to focus on how bad do you want that thing, because there's issues that can be resolved in order to make it possible. I absolutely recommend that you focus on those things this month, because they are all a part of this major revelation, which leads to your revolution. 2021, I've said it 100 times, it's about always embracing the change this month. There's simply no resisting. With this much magnetism, it would be such a shame for you to waste this kind of energy on like people that don't deserve your time and energy. Healthy boundaries while you guard your dreams, Libra. Because it's the dreams, the inspiration, those are where you're going to get someplace. Heavy people, dependent people, that is not. All right, Beautiful reading, Libra. I'm going to leave it there. I do hope that you guys have a wonderful month of August, and I will be talking to you very soon. Take care. Sending lots of love. Bye.